Howdy do everyone, my name is Angie, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Our Life. This is going to be the last part of Step 3, which breaks my heart a bit. We're going to be finishing this game. Just a quick reminder, I guess. Not really an announcement, more of a reminder. But just a reminder, guys, to listen to my mods. I know, I don't want to say this too many times, but please listen to my mods. They are doing what I ask of them, so please listen to them. Yeah. Thank you very much in advance. And hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in, Tarnished. Welcome in, Space. Love to see you here. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. My voice is a little scratchy today, sorry. I was doing some stuff earlier, now I've gone and lost my voice right before the book club stream. Alright. So we'll be selecting and then summer ended. Are you sure? Yes. Yes, unfortunately. Alright, let's send off Cove with a smile. Alright. Moths bounce against your window, attracted by the light of your room, a siren call in the slowly darkening sky. Just as the day was coming to an end, so too would summer. Liz would be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come stay for a short trip before her own new journey began. She'd officially been accepted to her first choice college a few weeks ago. This was her last chance to see you all in person for... You flicked through the plans for the next few months, realizing that you didn't even know when you'd next have the opportunity for everyone to be able to see... Wow. For everybody to be in the same place again. Avoid bullying Cove for the last stages of his life. It's not the last stages of his life, just the teenage life. He'll survive a little bit of bullying. It was hard to think that you'd likely be seeing even less of your cousin going forward, but you were delighted that she was pursuing her dreams. While you were still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdens were tagging along too. Chinese or tropical? You guys with me? I'm gonna kick it into overdrive. As I said, the last stages of his life. Come on. Your years don't end with teenage years. Chinese? Got it. It was somewhere your family had always enjoyed going, ever since you and Liz were tiny. The long-standing connection made it a fitting location for a final meal out before Liz and Lee set off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only half on the task. It was a pleasantly warm evening, the kind that epitomized the vacation feeling, and you were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. Hello, Okapi, welcome in. Maybe you should get Chinese tonight for dinner? That sounds good. I actually had Chinese earlier. I had mapo tofu and noodles. Just imagined if one of the dateable characters on the next game is Rain and Cove's son or daughter. Man, imagine. I think the next game takes place around the same time. While idly gazing at your room, you spotted a small cluster of unopened envelopes that must have been left for you by your parents earlier. You headed over to the table to flick through for anything of interest. As a child, any correspondence felt exciting due to its rarity. You recognize now that most of it was mundane, but you were checking any mail you got more regularly of late. This was something you were expecting. You stopped at a crisp white envelope. The logo proudly proclaimed The Sender, a school you'd applied to. All right, well, when I was at this age and looking through this kind of stuff, I was worried for everything. Let's be honest. The next game of our life will take the same time, but on autumn. Yeah, I've been following them on Twitter and seeing all the updates for that. All right. Yeah. You wished you could roll back the hands of time and make it so you weren't aware of this message, at least until after tonight. You didn't want bad news to spoil your evening, but you couldn't bear to have this looming over you the whole time either. There was no other option but to look. You pulled apart the glued flap on the front of the envelope and extracted the letter. Your eyes darted over the message, rushing past the pleasantries to get to the heart of the matter. The blood pounding in your ears deafened you to the world outside that was contained within these letters. Your heart skidded to a halt as you read your verdict. You'd been accepted. Relieved. Relieved is a good feeling. The tension flooded out of your body with such intensity that you needed to slump against the wall for support. What do you guys think? Should we make the announcement at dinner and be dramatic about it? Keep it to ourselves? We could call Cove. He's our boyfriend now, I guess. Or just tell our family. Either one of those options seems pretty good. What do you guys think? I'm gonna take a drink of water. Drama! Okay. I'm still gonna take a drink of water. Alright, drama it is. You tried your best to finish getting yourself ready for the dinner ahead. It was a strain. Your mind had only half been at the task before. Now, with the news fresh in your mind, it was a struggle to concentrate on anything else. You kept having to recall your thoughts away from the future and back to the present. Time was against you. Mom soon called you from downstairs that it was time to go. You had to check the time. Sure that you had 10 or at least 5 minutes left. You were wrong. Ooh, just like me for real. We need Angie's new sprites? Oh, I do have blushing sprites and stuff. I just never use them. I mentioned earlier that when I moved computers, like the model I have, like, it deleted itself, so I had to really hurriedly, kind of rush together this small thing, so I only have like a few expressions here. I didn't put my blushing sprite in, so that sprite is not currently in my pack. It was in my old one, but it's not in this one. If you watch any of my videos, like the Poppy Playtime video and stuff, those sprites are in it. You can see what they look like, but you'd have to watch those videos in order to see them. They're any of my edited videos on my channel, which is the 2 OnStars one and the Poppy Playtime. When will the public be allowed to see? That's hard. Oh, that's an inside joke. That's an inside joke. Oh. Sprite? I guess I don't really have a sprite like that. I do have my, like, angry sprite here and my, shifty looking sprite, but I don't have that sprite. I don't know. I asked Space for all of my sprites. She's my artist. So any begging has to be done through her and my wallet. All right. Let's continue. You tore down the stairs, attempting to juggle your composure among the hurry and excitement. Your moms, who turned to greet you as you arrived, swapped silent, knowing looks. They couldn't possibly have figured out what happened, or so you hoped. As your moms, they were pretty good at telling things without being told. You watched them hunting for any signs that they were on the case, but none came. For now, it didn't seem like they knew what was happening. Not exactly, at least. But things were definitely happening, and even if they didn't know for sure what you were cooking up, they could smell something in the air. Moms always know. Everyone piled in the car. While it was marketed as being suitable to hold 5 people, in practice, it made for a very tight fit. Your moms sitting in the front were fine. You, Liz, and Lee were squished into the back, Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Thanks to her efforts, you pulled up near the restaurant in time. The process of getting out of the car was slightly easier than squeezing into it, with much less coordination required to release seatbelts than to secure them. Blush Bright would be perfect for the totally innocent moments that happened on the Monday stream. I needed to actually have my panic Sprite. I have a panicked blushing Sprite. I should have had that in the pack for it. But I honestly did not know that we were going to have that interaction. That surprised me. Oh. You gave Lee a hand as she clambered out from the middle seat, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you as you entered. Ma let him know how many of you there would be in total, and he went to arrange a table that met your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to your seats. You perched comfortably in your chair, your head held aloft as it buoyed by today's good fortune. Your family settled down around you, all cheerful and looking forward to the evening ahead. Your drink order had just been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointed in your direction, though Mom was waving an arm in the air. It was hardly necessary. Yeah, Space has she's really talented. I love her art. Yeah, she's done all of my sprite work, and then some of the chibis that have been in my earlier, some of my earlier thumbnails were done by her. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join you at the table. As greetings were being exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite to you. It had been left empty by unspoken acknowledgement that you and Cove would be waiting to sit together. No, stop acknowledging me. Never! Get social media so I can start tagging you as my artist. Bully Space into getting social media. Mr. Holden sat beside him. That never. Do it! Do it, darn it! I want to tag you! Hi. It's great to see you. Glad you can make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am. You came at just the right place, then. Wish I was talented like Space. She's practiced for a long time. Like, she's worked really hard to get to where she is. There was some laughter, though Liz groaned playfully, shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. Growing up, she'd have complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. Liz had mellowed over the years, but she still made a show of despairing at Mom's jokes. Her reaction to them had become a joke in its own right. Menus were soon placed around, and temporary hush fell over the table as everyone read. It didn't last long, punctured by comments about what people had eaten here before and light chatter about what people were considering tonight. Once the waiter had disappeared with your orders, Cliff piped up. Okay. So, I've got some good news. Kyra's making a trip out here tomorrow. Cove nodded, turning from his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it and figured it was good timing for everyone. That's great! Everyone reacted positively to the news, though Ma looked wistful. She's good at everything. Aw, yeah, Space is good at everything. This is Mod Appreciation Day, actually. Sorry to surprise you, Space. Unlike Cove. Hey now, how'd you turn being positive towards you into bullying Cove? Not just talent, hard work. She is talented too, but it's also hard work. My dedication to drawing beautiful women is second to my dedication to bullying Cove. Oh, so you're acknowledging that I'm a beautiful woman. Thank you, Space. Love to have you here. It's a shame. If only we'd known. Here we are, having a big meal without her. If we'd waited a day, she could have joined us. Mom patted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what-ifs, and back to the evening that was going on so well. Yep, this is all about you today, Space, not about Cove. We will see him again. This is just the last time we're seeing him like this. So say goodbye to Ponytail Cove. He won't be here after this episode. Chin up. Lee and Liz will still be here tomorrow. We'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Ma smiled warmly, taking Mom's hand in hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate right now, but there will be more good news and good times at the horizon. Right. And speaking of, that's not all we've got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were alight as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled towards the sun. He barely let a beat go by before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up to the announcement. He was the very picture of a proud papa. Let's see. No, we'll never see him again. Welcome back, Okapi. Hope you had a good dinner. Chinese restaurant is reminding you of Kung Fu Panda? I see. That is a fun movie. I really like those movies. It's been forever since I've seen them, though. I need to get my phone away from me. I keep fidgeting with it and it's making too much noise. Sorry if you guys were hearing that. Alright. Let's continue. Cove shield from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring at his lap as he spoke. Well, it's just... I've switched over to working full-time instead of only part-time. Plus, I've been looking at apartments. There's a few I can choose from. He flicked his gaze up at everyone around the table, a smile creeping over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Apartments. He was moving. Cove was going to move out from his dad's house after 10 years. He wasn't going to be your neighbor anymore. Mr. Holden gripped one of Cove's shoulders and gave it a loving shake. His excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Cove's actually going to make it to adulthood. It's a miracle. Mr. Holden leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder.
I'm so glad.
I wasn't convinced I'd be able to rear a kid all the way to this point, but thankfully I lucked out and got the best boy a dad could have asked for. Dad. Cove blinkered his vision with his hands on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father from sight. Okay, what has chat been saying? Have you ever watched Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, 3, and 4? I've watched the first 3. I know I watched the first 2. I can't remember if I've watched 3 or not, but I think I've watched 3. I'm fairly certain I've watched 3, but I can't remember. But I have not watched 4. Let's see. Just the first 3 for you too, Space? Yeah. I know I haven't watched the 4th one. Alright, let's continue. Despite his genuine bashfulness, which left him unable to meet anyone's eyes after all the attention thrust his way, he was happy. Thanks. I was really lucky too. You're a good dad. Aw, come on. Mr. Holden threw an arm around Cove's neck, pulling him into as close of a hug as the seating allowed. He rubbed his cheek on the top of his son's head while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. Keep looking over at chat. More Kung Fu Panda. Now we're imagining Cliff with the Night Fury. Okay, back to How to Train Your Dragon. Hello, Momster. Welcome in. You've only seen the first 2 movies? Yeah, they're pretty good movies. They're pretty funny. Dad and son bonding moments make me cry out of wholesomeness. Yeah, I love these bonding moments between them. As close as the seating allowed. I think they actually mean to say as close as Cove's frail bones can bear. Space! Space, I need a squirt bottle acid. Hey, Space, draw me a squirt bottle acid so I can spray you with it. Your mouth was parched, your tongue sandpaper against the roof of your mouth. Though you took a sip of your drink, the relief was short-lived. There's something I'd like to mention too, if it's okay. Of course.
Yeah.
Lay it on us. I got my acceptance letter today. I'll be going to college soon. You what? When was that a thing? Oh, sorry. I didn't really want to talk about it before. Ah, yes. The surprised mom face. It's perfect. So perfect. This is the drama we lived for and wanted. Oh. Father and sons have the same expressions. Yeah, basically. Angie, put your smiling sprite... Put my smiling sprite in Photoshop and paste the spray thing on it. I can do that. I can also just get like a little spray paint asset and just kind of like put it in front of me so it's its own separate asset. I can also do that. But there's something very funny about making Space draw the asset and then using it on her. Oh, you're fine, Okapi. I can usually understand what you mean. There's something very special about the game and the fact that you can surprise your parents with the fact that you've been applying for colleges. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love that. Just going behind mom's back and applying for colleges. Like, don't worry about this. I don't think her mom even knew that we were applying for colleges is the thing. I don't think we told her we were planning on going to college.
You're fantastic.
Well, nice, Rain. I'm impressed, and we should have known you had something up your sleeve.
Good job.
That's wonderful, sweetie. Ma roped you into a hug, her arms quicker than any lasso. You were thankful you were sat next to her. If not, you didn't doubt that she would have dived over the table to reach you in her excitement. Hey, let me in on the hug. Your moms pincered you into a hug, leaning from their chairs to squeeze you in tandem. Liz beamed at you from across the table. Good job, Rain. Lee didn't hide her excitement, clapping her hands in open delight. That's amazing! You're gonna be amazing! Mr. Holden gave you a thumbs up. Impressive! You've got a good kid. The world's your oyster. Cove grinned at you from across the table.
Seriously?
That's amazing. It's incredible. You did it. Congratulations, Rain. Thanks. No, seriously, this is really, really big, and you deserve it so much. You looked around at the faces of the company here. You'd been on this journey with everyone here for years, seen them falter and grow, and they had watched you go through the same. Now you were striking out on a new path. Cove was leaving his family home, Liz was heading back to college, and Lee was starting at hers. You were all headed in different directions, to different destinations, some near and some far, but it wouldn't be long until you were all going your own way. For me it's bittersweet, but I'm gonna look at chat before I answer. Let's see. How will Cove mom and dad react to his son with a Night Fury friend? If we're back to How to Train Your Dragon universe, I suppose they'd be surprised with everything we built up so far. I'm pretty sure they'd be very surprised by it. Especially with Cove getting up the nerve to have a dragon friend. Another Terraria world? Oh, yeah. Tell Mr. Holden to give you $20 for your tuition. I mean, he owes us, right? He owes us for that. Alright, bittersweet for me, probably. You turned your head to the side, wistful, not wanting to spoil the evening with your troubles. You were glad that everyone was succeeding, but the idea of splitting up gave you a twinge of regret. These people had been key pillars in your life. Days ahead without them, no matter how bright or shiny, felt a little empty, like a theme park after closing time. Let's focus on the sweet side, though. New adventures were still ahead, and you could encourage that optimism. Cove brought some attention to himself with a clearing of his throat and a small interjection. I'm gonna stretch my legs while we're waiting for the food and everything.
Sure.
Sure thing, bud. With a tiny smile, he nodded at his dad, but the lightness to his expression faded when he moved to face you. Wanna come? He was attempting to be subtle, but there was a very obvious something on his mind, something he wanted to talk to you about alone. You watched him with concern as he rose from your seat. Yeah, I'll go. Take care. With those parting words, the two of you walked about the place. He was trying to get as far away from everyone else as possible, without actually exiting the building. You waited for him to talk. You were sure he would. Cove started pulling at the hem of his shirt. He turned his back to face you, but it was an awkward moment. Well, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one about all of this. You know, my work, moving. To pause real fast, we had Cove go ahead and confess to us early, but if we hadn't and we waited, he would have confessed here. Well, I guess we confessed to Cove, actually. We did that. But if we would have waited, this is the moment that he would have confessed. If I'm remembering that right. This is the last chapter of the game, right? Yes, but there is DLC, and I do plan on playing the DLC. Boy oh boy, last time Rain and Cove were alone. It's not gonna be the last time Rain and Cove are alone, let me tell you. Like I said, there are DLC that we're gonna get to. Like, Tarnished, I don't know if you realize, but there is an entire adult epilogue, and there is a wedding DLC. And we also have the DLC for Baxter and Derek as well. Which will be like their own episodes, I guess. Anyways, let's get back into it. I mean, it was coming before, but now it's pretty much here. Yeah, it's exciting. Cove stopped picking at his shirt, and he seemed to respond well to that response. He was relieved that you weren't upset about it. I'm glad you think so. But then he looked down, and his brow furrowed. You saw his hand shift away from his clothes to instead rub at his arm. Are you looking forward to it? I am. Well, I'm trying to be. He ducked his head further, and you saw his face start to redden. But it's scary. I don't want things to end. Let's see, what should we choose there? Looking for those stones again? Alright, let's see. So you're saying you're going to dress up as the future for Halloween. Obviously. Halloween, okay. Alright, the Halloween one. Chad has spoken. It's a little conceptual, sure, but you could probably make it work. Definitely not. I feel bad going around as something that terrifying. The mood felt a little better, though it didn't last. Cove then turned his head away and wrapped his arms around himself. You felt a sudden chill that definitely wasn't caused by the air conditioner. Oh, whoops. It's happening, you know. What I talked about earlier this summer. The world isn't going to keep us together anymore. It'll all be up to us now. But everything is still going to be okay, right? We're still going to be okay? We'll keep calm. Get mad at him for it. You understood his concern. It was definitely hard to imagine what would happen. However, you didn't let yourself get upset. Oh, we can be really sweet. We can be really sweet or kind of realistic, I guess. Oh. I am kind of like waiting because I want to see if chat does say anything for these options. Like I said, I always go with the first I see. However, I do choose things after a while, but last time I was choosing things way too fast. Well, you said be sweet, but how sweet are we being? Momster said it's just all right. That's the last one? Okay. We can do, like, I don't know, but it's gonna be alright. sorry, Tarnished. Momster gave me, like, a more solid answer first. Alright. You couldn't know the future, so you didn't have any definite answers. That being said, you still believed you'd make it through somehow. You had to. Cove laughed with a delicate smile on his face. Okay, you win. I wanted to prepare myself for the horrifying unknown, but you're kind of giving me no choice but to be optimistic here. His eyes sparkled with mischief. Strong armor. That's right. Let's see. Oh no, I can't believe you're being forced to have a hope after... hope about life. Man, I can't believe this. Oh my god. You have to because he can't. Oh my gosh. But the answer was sweet. Yes, it was sweet. It was sweet. Let's see. On account of his. Are you gonna say it? Are you gonna? Are you going to end off there? Snicker? Okay. Cove rolled his eyes and tried not to smile. Thanks for listening to me, Rain. It helped. You felt pleased that his anxiety had eased after talking it out. Do you want to go back to the table now? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot what we were doing here. That'd probably be good. With matching smiles, you both reclaimed your seats at the table. Both of you felt lighter, and it showed. You seem happy. What was that? Yeah, it looked like you were having quite the conversation over there. It's neighbor stuff. Sorry. I used to be your neighbor. He waved off their questions, and you didn't offer any explanations. They still seemed curious, but caught that Cove wanted it to stay between the two of you and let it drop. Yep, I knew it. I knew you were gonna say it, Space. I just knew you were gonna say it. Things relaxed, and you took a sip of your drink. Lee idly tapped the table and got your attention. I'm so excited to try this place. I haven't been here in a long time. I hope it's as good as I remember. All the restaurants in the area are pretty top-notch in my humble opinion. We'll see. It was a challenge issued. Liz carried herself like some sort of professional food critic, and Mom snorted. Tough crowd. Jeez, Liz. Ma giggled and chimed in as well, much to Liz's embarrassment. That's right, Lizzie. Jeez. Oh, jeez Louise. Going after the G's. That's funny. Liz put a hand over her eyes in mock offense. I hardly say G's anymore. Cove smirked and turned to your sister. You leaned forward in your seat. Oh, geez. Everyone burst out laughing, besides Liz, of course. She smirked. No one could ever accuse your family of being no fun. Night fell soon after everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot saying your goodbyes and packing up the cars to go home. After the last of the chores were done, your family spent more time together. You then had some extra time and decided to... Let's see. Oh my gosh, I forgot that we can just... I forgot that we can just straight up call Jeremy again. Geez, too sweet. Yeah, it's super sweet. Call Jeremy, call Jeremy. Got it, got it, got it. We know who the fan favorite is. It had been a while since you got his number from Shiloh, but you'd never actually attempted to reach out again so far. You thought this might be a good moment to go for it. You had absolutely no idea how this conversation would go. The furious boy you'd known was very different to the resigned teenager you'd spoken to this summer. Your stomach twisted ever tighter as the phone rang. Your first call ended unanswered, but you at least expected that much. Jeremy certainly ignored the unknown number. You redialed, waiting for him to pick up. After another extended dial tone sequence, the sound was finally replaced with a slow yawn. Hello? What's up, bowl cut? What's up, bowl cuts? We're picking nets. Obviously, we're picking nets. Rain, you're actually doing this? Haven't you suffered enough? I love how he's just automatically like, oh god, it's you. You just have to say, what's up, bowl cuts? And he's like, oh, dear god. Oh, there was none of the fury which he'd rained down in the past, only bewilderment. Let's see. Oh, how do we top off that what's up bowl cut? That was so good. Okay, you know it's good when me and Space agree. Absolutely. Glutton for punishment? Got it. Alright. Sigh. Why is this happening? You knew that he knew what led to this call. You didn't have to explain, and he proved that shortly after with a real sigh. Whatever. Did Shiloh ever explain his lying self? Yeah. It worked out. Alright then. The conversation came to a halt. Let's ask a question. Is everything going okay for you? Nope. Life is misery. Jeremy, it's delightful responses like these that make everyone love you so much. Cool, Jeremy. Very cool. To your surprise, Jeremy piped up with a question for you. Are you that bored? Or do you honestly have some kind of interest in me as a person? What is it, chat? What do you guys think? Do you have interest in Jeremy? What is, why did you guys want to call Jeremy? Because you guys seem to always want to call Jeremy. Why was that? He's such an engaging conversationalist. That is true. I mean, like, his responses are just so wonderful and so engaging. Who cares? Oh, good response. Sigh. Oh no, I skipped something. No, I didn't. Then you heard another yawn coming down the line. Well, bye. Let's see. You better stop asking me why I talk to you now. Thanks for talking to me. Take care. Let's see. This is your guys' conversation. You guys were the ones that wanted to talk to Jeremy, so by all means, take this. What do you want to say to him? How would you like to end off our conversation with Jeremy? Take care? Take care. You expected the call to end there. Even had your thumb hovering over the button to finish the call, but Jeremy's voice stopped you. I think it's weird we actually talked to each other, yet again. It makes no sense, but it's not worth having a problem with. Bye. With that, he hung up. It had gone better than expected, and there was truth in what he said. Who would have thought that you'd reconnect like this? Life was full of surprises. You didn't have a problem with it either. There was still time left in the evening, so let's call Shiloh. You thought of Shiloh both as a central figure in your early childhood and as the person you'd come to know since then, and brought up his number on your phone. He picked up within a few rings. Hi, Rain. His voice was as peppy as ever. You wondered if everyone who called got such an excitable greeting. Hi.
This is so great.
It's so great to hear from you. I hope you're doing okay. He raised his voice at the end, turning the statement into a question. All right. Well, I just looked over at the wall and I see a spider climbing on it. That's triggering a fear for me. I don't like seeing that. I'm gonna pretend that I don't see it currently, but I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Let it bite you? No. I don't want it to bite me. I don't want it to bite me. No. I'm in Hollow Knight. Oh god, it's followed me. I don't want to be a spiderfish. I don't want to be a spiderfish. No, Space, I can already feel her working on the design. Don't do it. Don't turn me into a spiderfish. Okay. All right, how are we greeting Shiloh? All right. Yeah, just wanted to see how you were doing. Aw. I really appreciate you keeping in touch like this. You must be so busy now. Oh, before I forget, my mom says hi. She's still sad that she wasn't able to see the Sky family herself. Tell her I said hi back. Interesting. No, don't make me a spiderfish. It's my one fear. I don't want to be the very thing I'm scared of. You were touched that she remembered you. Yeah. You could hear the soft smile in his voice, even if you couldn't see it. She was mostly just happy that I got to have a little reunion with you all, and that it went pretty well in the end. Whoops. He laughed again, firmly closing the lid on the discussion. Anyway, you, your family, and Cove are always welcome to come visit us here, and that'd be fun. With everything that was going on, it was highly unlikely that you'd be able to accept that invitation. Shiloh knew that. He was probably just being nice as he preferred to do. But as a thought... yeah, we could meet all of your problem friends. See, Okapi agrees with me. Don't do it. Don't make me a spiderfish. I can't handle it. Spiders are my one fear. Grow up, Angie. Be like Batman. Become your fear now. Now. I don't want to be a spiderfish. I don't want to be a spiderfish. Don't make me a spider. Don't do it. Don't do it. The more you protest, the more I even think. No, don't make me a spiderfish. I'm gonna keep reading. Meet the group? Alright. Yeah, we can meet that group of yours. You grinned, imagining Shiloh and the posse of unfriendliness. Awesome! Let me know if you're ever in the area. His voice was upbeat, almost as if he'd been encouraged by the idea of your openness to it. What about a fish spider? A crab? You're gonna make me a crab? It's inevitable. All things must become a crab. Well, I shouldn't take up too much of your time. Thanks for reaching out, though. Oh. Take care. Shiloh chuckled briefly. Bye. You hung up, feeling pleased that you could simply talk to Shiloh like this. It was sweet to hear a little from his mom, too, even if the message was secondhand. The rest of the night felt like it was going by in the blink of an eye, and somehow the time came to retire you to your room. You pulled your covers up under your chin and settled down for the night, getting warm and cozy. All becomes Crab. It's true. All becomes Crab. It's the inevitable ending to all things. Rain will go to college and Jeremy will be in all her classes. Jeremy is still in high school, so that couldn't happen. As your head sank into your pillow and you closed your eyes, your mind drifted back to everything that had happened that day. You could see it all now, behind your eyelids, as though you were experiencing it all over again. And then the image of Cove popped into your head, and you smiled softly to yourself. Let's see. Alright guys, what are we doing? Just let me know. He's graduating early, I see. Jeremy will skip a few grades. Yeah. That's it. There's not a whole entire game about Jeremy's senior year or anything. There's not like an entire separate game that's just about his senior year of high school. Let's send him a text. All right. You were outvoted, Space. Sneak out to his room. It's already been decided. Taking your phone from the bedside table, you lay on your back and held it above your face, typing out a message to Cove. Hey, are you awake? He didn't reply, and you let out a defeated sigh as you locked your phone screen and let your arms fall back down. He must have fallen asleep. Suddenly, your phone buzzed in your hand, and you scrambled to check the message that had just come through. It was Cove. Yeah, what's going on? Let's see. I'm texting you, that's what. The smiley face was also good. What a shame. Sneaking into his room would have been so funny. It would have. Quite the role reversal. Yeah, remember last time in his room? That completely innocent thing that happened in his room where we didn't do anything inappropriate. We were tucking him into bed and that was it. Hopefully things will go just like last stream. Yep, exactly. Just like last stream, completely innocent and nothing inappropriate happening. Completely, absolutely innocent. Yep, no one there to stop this complete innocence happening. Absolute innocence. Yeah, we tripped over each other a couple of times. Man. We're just so clumsy like that. Cove really needs to clean up his room, you know. All of the sand in the way really makes it hard. What are you doing? You watch the little dots on your screen as he typed before his next message popped up on your screen. I'm just heading to bed. Good night? Okay, chat. Chat, this is on you. You guys, you guys can have this one. What do you want? What do you guys want to do? Are we ending it here? Or, good night. Space always with tripping it up. She's, like I said, guys, the first one that comes in gets to answer it. You guys gotta be faster than Space. You guys gotta be faster than her, because the result is this. Night. Anglerfish. As if that's my full name. My full name is right there. It's spelled out for you. You can see it. You don't understand because that's right. Full 8 hours is very important. It is so important. You gotta understand. You tapped out your reply before setting your phone down on the bedside table again and plugging it in the charger. Cocooning your blankets around yourself, you snuggled into your bed and soon found yourself drifting off into a deep, restful sleep. I can hear the screaming. The next morning, you woke slowly from your comfortable dream, finding yourself safe and warm and tucked up in bed. We just missed the best sleep possible? No, obviously, we just got a very healthy amount of sleep. It was very important to get that so we can have the best day possible. I mean, what's the point in doing anything at night anyways? It's night, nothing ever happens then. Cove will come over anyways. He doesn't need an invitation. Yeah, usually when he came over, he didn't need an invitation. Angie Angler Fishius Du Marina von Lumine III. That is, yep, that's canon. That's my full name. That's it. Oh my gosh. Sleep is for the weak. That's a young person talk. That's young person talk right there. You don't understand. The older you get, the more sleep you need. Man, you need it. Let me tell you, you need it. I sleep 64 hours a day and I am still fine. I'm noting that down. Okay. With a small stretch, you opened your eyes and the sun shining in through the window. Negative 64. I see negative 64. I was about to say, 64 hours a day sounds wonderful. I'd sleep for that long. Yep, that's definitely the words of a child. Like, let me tell you, sleep, I beg for it constantly. Give me sleep. Let me sleep. Please let me sleep. What kind of boyfriend would let you sleep? The respectful kind. That's who. If the boyfriend doesn't let me sleep, the boyfriend's getting kicked out. Sleep is important, okay? With a small stretch, you opened your eyes to the sun shining in through the window. After waking up a little more and getting ready, you headed downstairs to find your family all gathered around the kitchen area. Good morning. You greeted them all, receiving a chorus of good mornings back in return. You nodded in acknowledgement as you headed to the kitchen to find some breakfast. A knock at the front door caught your attention and curiosity pulled you to follow several steps behind Mom as she went to answer it. Cove was waiting with both of his parents. Morning.
Hello.
Hi there. Surprised at the sight, Mom paused a moment, and then she pulled Kyra into a big hug. Meanwhile, you approached the doorway and flashed a small smile at Cove. Kyra, it's been too long. I know. Time's been flying. Kyra's gaze slid over to you. She waved. When I get 8 hours of sleep, I just can't sleep at night? Sleep is important. 8 hours are so precious, man. So precious. I mean, I always took advantage of sleep when I was younger too, but like, man, getting 8 hours of sleep now, I love it. Oh my god, I can't get enough of it. Why is Kyra so pretty? She's beautiful. She's so beautiful. Why have I never noticed that she had a tattoo there before? Not that I've been looking there every single time, but I'm just noticing it. Kyra is a beautiful woman. Kyra's gaze slid over to you. She waved. Hey there, Rain. Biting your bottom lip, you nodded slightly. Hello. Well? Because you, unlike me, were looking respectfully. That's right! I, Angie Lumine, have been looking very respectably. We respect women here. Rain is only 2 years younger than me. Yep. 2 years younger than you? She's 18 here. To you, she is a baby. She is a baby. In fact, she is. But don't call me Granny. Don't call me Granny. Okay? Alright, let's hug her. You intended on it being brief, but she gave you a lasting squeeze. A small squeak escaped you, and then a chuckle. When you stepped back, there was no missing the merriment sparkling in her eyes. Enough of standing around out here, come on in. Mom moved aside to usher the group in and guided them to the living room. Before anyone could get settled in, Mom spoke up. You're all welcome to stay for breakfast. We still have some great spices and stuff from the farmer's market.
Of course.
Yes, we'll be thrilled to host you. There were eager nods from Mr. Holden and Kyra, but Cove looked around the room filled with familiar faces before speaking up. Maybe instead of staying here, why don't we go to the beach? A scenic picnic, eh? Mr. Holden crossed his arms and contemplated the idea happily. Excited, Kyra clapped her hands together. Let's see. My mistake. But still, she is not the same old lady such as you. Is 18 old now? Are we considering 18 in the hag years now? Because I have some things to say if that's the case. Let's see. If Cliff dies and becomes a Ray like Moana's grandmother. I like that. I love that movie. I love that movie a lot. You're not taking into account the fact that Cove's mere presence has aged her. We're saying that Cove's presence aged her. Our boyfriends. She's not an old lady such as you. Hey! Hey now! Spacey Da Vinci. Spacey Da Vinci. 18 is barely an adult, and only in the most legal definition. It's true. Like, 18 is still baby. 18 is not hag. 18 is baby still. I thought, like, internet standards, it was like 25 is when hag years started getting into it. Like, that's when you're defined as old. I don't know what the definitions are anymore. That's just what I remember. I just feel like I'm going like, back in my day, or something like that. For someone that is infinite years old, 18 is indeed a baby. Yes, 18 is a baby. Oh my gosh. Space, back me up more. Oh, Mr. Holden. Nope, I read that. Oh, we could really make a day out of it. Might as well enjoy the ocean while we can. And that sounds lovely, Cove. Everyone else put in their own agreement with Cove's suggestion. Before long, both families dispersed, getting everything ready. Sandwiches had to be made, water, sunscreen, towels, and more needed to be gathered and packed. An hour later, both your family and Cove's were walking down the old path to the beach. The morning was already turning into a bright and beautiful day. You honestly couldn't ask for better weather for a beach trip. The moment you laid your eyes on the full view of the ocean, you stopped and stood there, mesmerized. It didn't matter that you had grown up here. The sight always filled you with wonder. It's true. Every time I look at the ocean, I'm always reminded about how beautiful it is. And that's coming from someone that lives on it. Lives in it, I should say. I'm a fish. All right. Angie, you have reached... Excuse me? Excuse me? What is that entire comment? What is that entire comment? 18 is a baby. It's teenager plus. I agree, Space. It's teenager plus at most. It's not old. 18 is not old. Can't believe I'm having this conversation. Can't believe I'm having this conversation. I'm going back to reading. I'm going back to reading now. Hey, Rain.
So?
I was thinking about calling Terry and Miranda. See if they can come too. Everyone else is pretty much already here, so would your family mind? I can ask them. Already you can imagine any problems your moms could have with that idea. Cove matched the grin growing on your face. You were eager to see your friends join in for the fun today. You made your way over to your moms. I have a question. Would it be alright if Terry and Miranda came by? I don't see why not. Ma looked to Mom to see what her thought was, and she nodded in agreement. Mom then shot a glance over at Mr. Holden and Kyra, knowing that they had likely heard everything. Cliff, Kyra, what do you two think? The more the merrier.
Okay.
Of course, they're welcome with me. 18 is old. Oh my god, you actually said it. You are simply older. We may be older than that, but 18 is still so young. You have so much of your life ahead of you at 18. I need backup here, Space. Argue in the comments. Oh, thanks. Delighted, you nodded and turned on your heels. Cove was still several feet away, talking to Lee and Liz, likely about the same topic. With a beaming smile, you gave him a thumbs up, and the two of them must have also approved, as Cove quickly got his phone and started making the calls. At that, you turned your attention to helping with the picnic setup. Unexpectedly, your phone started ringing. You dug it out, curious to see the caller ID. Feeling your heart jump with excitement, you answered the video call request. It was Derek. It's your boy! It's your boy, Space! Oh. Alright, hi. Sup, Rain? Look at him! Look at how our boy grew up! Look at him! Derek! He's so handsome! Oh. 18 is almost 1/4 of the normal you in life? What are you talking about? He got so tall. He got his growth spurt. Oh. The voice that came through was much deeper than it had been when you first met, but it still had the exact same amount of enthusiasm of a kid. Have you been enjoying these crazy summer days? It's been amazing. That's awesome. You'll have to catch me up on that. But what about you? How's your summer been? You were beyond curious to know what Derek had been up to since the last time you spoke. He chuckled, noticing your invested tone. Honestly, I've just been slammed with stuff lately. College applications and scholarship inquiries. What else is new? Let's see. I bet you're even more toned than the last time I saw you. Yeah, right? Let's see. He got so tall, that's right. I'm so proud of him. Chat is going off right now. Some chat is a little cut off for me. Sorry if I don't read everything. Please talk about how Buffy is. I will. Laughing, you knew that you didn't need to see him to know the answer to that. Derek wouldn't be Derek if his free time didn't revolve around sports. Totally. I'm gonna be so buff you won't even recognize me. What about your family? Are your brothers being good? My little brothers are little punks, but I guess they're doing all right. You both laughed at that. Mom and Dad are fine. That's great. My moms are too. Turning your attention back to your surroundings, you smiled warmly at your family buzzing around. Towels were laid out and chairs and umbrellas were being set up. Actually... have I seen what you wrote on chat? Yeah, I have. Don't worry. I've been reading it. Some of the stuff I just don't read as much anymore. Mostly the reason I'm not reading as much in chat right now is because my throat kind of hurts. I was a little sick recently. And I'm still recovering, so my throat is kind of suffering from that. So my voice is like a little gravelier than usual. And it's hurting a little more. So I'm trying to kind of get through this a little faster. You know, this epilogue a little faster. So that's why I haven't been reading chat as much. So nothing personal, guys, if I'm not reading chat as much. It's why I'm sending Space to get my argument right now. To argue with me right now. Oh no, you're fine, Okapi. Yeah, I'm sorry that, like, I have to be sick right now. I'm trying to take better care of myself, but it just happened. Yeah, you guys enjoy arguing. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not reading chat as much today. I'm sorry about that. I'll read chat more next time, I promise. Alright. Actually, I'm out with my moms right now. Liz and Lee are here visiting too. Oh, that's fun. But if that's the deal, I'll let you get back to it. Are you sure? I don't mind. Uh-huh. I'm sure. I'm not about to lose your number. Okay, bye. Bye, Rain. Have a heck of a day. Hanging up, the conversation left you energized and in good spirits. It was exactly what you needed to make this day even better. You hurried over to your mom's and helped put the rest of the food out. In moments, you noticed Cove at your side. Turning to face him, your mouth pulled into a hopeful smile. You waited expectantly for what he had to say about the girls. They're gonna come. Really? Your whole demeanor brightened and your smile beamed. They'll meet us here later today. Shouldn't be too long. I can't wait. Once the setup was done, everyone got comfortable and dug into the food. No, don't go, Derek. I know, I hate seeing him go. It comes with age. What does that mean? What does that mean? You couldn't remember the last time breakfast tasted so good, but you attributed it to the gorgeous ocean view and soothing sea breeze. The conversation shifted to what you all would do next.
In that case,
You could do a few rounds of volleyball. There's plenty of us now.
is that all right?
Could I play? Of course. Miranda brightened, delighted with this plan. Ma looked around to see if there were any other takers. I don't feel like playing. I'd have to change, but it is fun to watch. I could be the ref. My eyes won't miss a thing. Volleyball's a good idea, but there should probably be something happening for those who aren't a fan. Ooh, I have some crafting supplies. We can make jewelry. We could even use stuff to find around the beach to accentuate them.
Really?
Oh, what? Really? I want to make a necklace. I'd be interested in trying my hand at that too. We're still on this debate. I looked over going like, what's chat going on about? Still talking about if 18 is old. Huh. This puts me in a certain mood. Oh. I could do that. Nice. What are we doing? We making jewelry or are we playing volleyball? I'm gonna take a drink of water while I wait for an answer. Stop arguing about 18 for a bit. Tell me if we're playing volleyball or making jewelry. Volleyball? Okay, volleyball it is. Alright. You looked at Ma, ready to jump into a competitive mode. She looked thrilled to have you on board. Kyra got up from the towel she was sitting on. She brushed some sand off her legs and then stretched her arms over her head. I'm up for a few rounds. Now that plans had settled, the group temporarily split into two. Alright, sports stars, you're gonna have to pick partners and then it's game on. Wow, that reading did not come out the way I wanted it to. Mr. Holden left the rest of you to deliberate and turned his attention to drawing a makeshift court in the sand. Well? She walked over to you and hooked her arms around yours. You laughed. I want to be on Rain's team. All right, it'll be Ma and me. That left Miranda to partner up with Kyra. She nodded firmly. Let's have fun. When Mr. Holden finished drawing the court, he went and fetched the volleyball from the various other supplies you all brought here. Sounds like we'll have our teams all set, right?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Now get to your sides. The four of you situated yourselves on one side or the other of the court with your partner. Mr. Holden tossed the ball to Ma. Since this was Nalani's idea, I think it's fair she gets to serve first. Thank you, Cliff.
Yeah.
Woo, Ma! Show him who's boss. Go, Rain, make them eat sand. I love our family support. I love our family support. Miranda and Kyra are so going down. That's right. It's Team Rain and Ma. We've got this. You kicked a small heap of sand out of your way on the simple court. Making her laugh, you turned back towards Ma. Ah. Alright, let's see. You're going down. For emphasis, you even pointed at the others. Miranda teasingly stuck her tongue out at you. We're family, we're a team, that's right! With that, Ma got into position and delivered a practiced first serve. The game began. In the battle over the volleyball, both teams scored points. There wasn't a set amount to reach to end things, so it went back and forth for as long as everyone wanted to play. And the game went on for quite a while as everyone got into it, especially with the cheers and added commentary. Liz and Mr. Holden made the whole game better with their humor and wit. From a distance, the jewelry making group would also cheer when they heard shouts coming from the court. On top of that, they would hold up each newly made piece in the air and the players would take a breather to applaud the creation. It wasn't until all of you were exhausted from the running, spiking, and diving that a truce was called. You enjoyed every moment of it. The afternoon continued to drift by, but the fun was still going strong. Occasionally, someone would head back to the houses to use the bathroom, rest away from the sun for a while, or to retrieve something that they needed, but they always came back. The beach was never empty, and there was always a new conversation to take part in another game. At one point, Mr. Holden even broke out his pack of cards. He roped the whole group into playing a few rounds of good old Go Fish. Go fish by the ocean! Go fish by the ocean! There was only one thing that could bring the beach day to an end, and that was for the day itself to end. Before anyone realized it, the sun began to set over the sea. As that happened, you were taking a break, sitting on a towel with your legs stretched out past it and your feet buried in the warm sand. Shortly, you looked up to see your moms approaching. They stopped in front of you, and you smiled. Hey there, kiddo. How are you doing? Good. They both sat down, squishing you between them. Ma leaned her head against yours, and Mom started rubbing your back soothingly. Nothing more was said at first, but Ma sighed contentedly. Mom looked on wistfully. We're both really proud of you, Rain. You grew up to be more than we ever could have hoped. It's only thanks to you two. Ma wrapped her arm around your middle and squeezed you tightly in a side hug. Mom continued lightly scratching your back. That means a lot, but I still think you're selling yourself short. You've always been a lovely person, and I'm so thrilled to know you. Your voice faltered, and you honestly couldn't imagine your life any other way. Ma lightly brushed some of your hair back and left a small kiss there. I'm so happy I got to have both of you as my moms. After that, all three of you were sitting there, getting all sentimental. I don't know how we got so lucky with you and Liz. Ma reached out in front of you for Mom's hand. She gave it to her, and Ma squeezed it. Rain has a point. We must have done something right. You stayed there quietly and contently, watching the sun set with your parents for a while. Lonnie still beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Until Mr. Holden called out to you. He was still walking in your direction. We were talking and think we're gonna take a walk down the shore. And if you want to come? Automatically, you looked up to your moms and what they were thinking. Mom glanced from you to Ma and smiled. That sounds good to me. Yes, that'd be very nice. My legs need some stretching. Grinning, you looked back at Mr. Holden. You gave him a nod. Thrilled, Mr. Holden threw out a thumbs up and began heading back the way he came in a light jog. Hey, don't leave us in the dust. Cliff kept going forward but flipped around, walking backwards across the sand so he could face you again. Don't worry, we wouldn't leave without you. All right, we'll catch up. Ready to go? Uh-huh. Both of your moms held out a hand to you. Chuckling, you gave them each one, and you all strolled back to the rest of the group. When Liz was in reach, Ma used her free hand to pull her into it too. Liz shook her head, but her mouth quirked into a smirk, and she didn't resist. Together as a family, you followed behind the others, hand in hand. Your feet squished into the wet sand as the waves rolled over them, and you didn't have a single care in the world as more and more stars began to dot the sky. Once the sun had long been out of sight, it was finally time to pack it up. The closing of the day and the ever-approaching end of summer seemed to intertwine. It caused a quiet, reflective mood to blanket over the group. On the beach, Terry and Miranda took turns compressing Cove in a hug before moving on to do the same to you. You chuckled, still overjoyed that you got to see them today. I'm sorry. We have to go already. My parents are here. That's okay. But still, I wish we could help clear this all up. Don't worry about it. Just thanks for coming out today. It was cool having everyone here. Oh yeah, I'm super glad we came. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. Nodding, you turned your attention to Terry. She wore a large grin on her face and held a hand out in a low five. You obliged. Take care of yourselves, buddies. After that, they walked away, waving to you. Cove... Something just happened outside. Sorry to, derail for a second. That surprised me. Oh, it's the dogs. I was wondering what that was. The dogs just started, barking all of a sudden, and, it sounded weird for a second. Alright. I will keep going. So, after that, they walked away, waving to you and Cove as they went down the shore. Cove waved quietly back with a small smile on his face. You waved too. It was a big wave. You hoped Miranda was right, and there would be another day like this soon. Taking you by surprise, Terry jumped and twisted around. She kept up with Miranda, but walked by walking backwards. She kept the mood of your farewell light and shooting of finger guns at you and Cove. Miranda bumped her with a hip. It left everyone with a laugh just before they disappeared down the bend. Rain.
Come on.
Hey, Cove. Could you come here? Both of your parents were motioning for you. The two of you went to them. Tons of things ended up on the beach over the course of the day, so there was still so much to pack up, and the parents needed help. With a nod, you got to it, stuffing various things into bags and bundling them up in towels. Once things were ready to go, everyone filled their arms with as much as they could carry. Absolutely no one wanted to be a back and forth kind of task. The walk back home ended up being mostly quiet. Each person seemed to be feeling the effects of the day. A cool breeze carried you across the sand and onto the road. There was a sigh of relief from what felt like the group as a whole when they arrived back to the neighborhood. I don't know who's talking right now. I can only guess Baxter. Well, hello everyone. You glanced to the side and spotted a very recognizable face walking down the road. I was right! Ha! Alright. We're still on this debate. I am surprised it's still going on. Oh man, I really touched on this. Alright, alright. Oh, hi, Baxter.
How are you?
Do you need help with that? You shook your head nervously while trying not to drop anything. If you're sure then, I am simply heading home after getting some fresh air. The season is almost over after all. Yeah. Baxter was only a tourist. He wouldn't be in town for much longer. You knew that, and so did he. If you have a minute, I'd just like to say it was a pleasure getting to know you both this summer. His head tilted towards you, and he smiled warmly. Baxter offered you his hand. Let's see. We'll use our freer hand to shake it. It was tough with that. It was tough with what you were carrying, but you were able to extend one of your hands a bit. Baxter chuckled and shook it. I really enjoyed meeting you.
Glad to hear it.
I'm delighted to hear that. I enjoyed this summer immensely thanks to you. Baxter turned to shake Cove's hand this time. He was a little incredulous for a moment, but when Cove eventually shifted what he was carrying and took Baxter's hand. It wasn't long, but it was a solid handshake. Baxter was clearly pleased. I wish I had more time together, but it was still a nice ride, while it lasted. Would happily do it all over again. Bye, Baxter. Yeah, bye. Baxter nodded and walked a few steps towards his condo. He then stopped and waved. Goodbye. Baxter sauntered away completely and disappeared into the condo to return his own things. His time with you and your family and friends ending. You paused for a moment, starting to wonder, staring at where he went. But afterwards, you looked back over the rest of the group. Lee and Liz were just going inside your house. You couldn't spot Kyra or Mr. Holden anywhere, but the door to their house was wide open. Mom approached you with an amused look on her face. Seems like you're holding up some Holden things. Surprised, you glanced down to take a quick inventory of what you were holding. Mom was right, some of it belonged to the neighbors. Would you mind dropping it off now? Fatigue was starting to sink in, and you looked again at everything you were carrying, but you nodded. I can do it. Thank you. Cove took a few steps towards his house and stopped, waiting for you. Good night, Cove. I'll see you inside, Rain. Night. You caught up to Cove, and together you went into the house. Walking in the front door, you saw Kyra and Mr. Holden busily unpacking already. Things were scattered on counters, and they were moving around each other, putting the items away. They both lifted their heads when Cove closed the front door. Hey. It's nice to see you again already, Rain. Her teasing tone brought a light smile to your face. You hefted the stuff in your arms a little closer. I ended up with things of yours from the beach. Oh, thanks for getting that to us. You can put it, here on that coffee table. Mr. Holden pointed at the surface he was referring to, and you immediately left what didn't belong to your family there. Cove put his own things down on the floor, just at his feet, wading through everything strewn about to reach his parents. Putting your family stuff on the ground for a moment, you dusted your hands off and straightened up. You needed a second to rest and a minute to restitute it all. You went over to where the others were too. Kyra opened her open arms, wanting to hug you. Of course we accept. It's a hug! You shyly averted your eyes for a moment. Kyra smiled understandingly, then you stepped forward and let her pull you into a hug. She hugged you tightly so you could feel every bit of how much she was happy to know you. You felt cared about. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a blast. I thought so too. Kyra eventually released you, but patted the top of your shoulders as a final gesture. Every time I've gotten to come by, it's been an absolute joy. Things really couldn't have worked out better. Mr. Holden took a step closer to you. Kyra moved aside to let him say goodbye too. He grinned. Thanks for always being such a friendly neighbor. And not just right now, but for as long as I've known you. I didn't always make it easy, but you and your family are good people. I really, truly appreciate it. Oh, siren. Wonder what's going on. Well, it's over. Go rest in Cove's room, Angie. Yeah, sure.
Thanks very much.
Go rest in Cove's room, everyone. Getting it in first. Momster, I'm surprised you're not trying to get into this debate. For some reason, I thought you'd also be interested in this debate of, is 18, considered young? Thanks again, Rain. So much. At that, Mr. Holden reached over and gave you a soft pat on the top of your head. I'm really glad that you're my neighbor. Mr. Holden's brows furrowed with emotion. Your words really did touch him. Me too. Mr. Holden was staring at you, but his gaze seemed far away. Maybe he was looking back at who you used to be, the 8-year-old who he had asked to be his son's new friend. Bye, Rain. You smiled softly. Then Cove took a step forward. He gestured to his pile of things he had carried into the house. Don't worry about that. I'll put stuff away in a few minutes. Right. I need to go do the same with my family. I figured. Cove walked you to the door and held it open. Taking one last check around to make sure you all had things to bring home, you went into the road. He leaned his body against the doorframe, not following you out. So, this is it, huh? Actually, that's not what I mean. His expression twisted as he shook his head a bit, like he was trying to banish the pensive thoughts.
Bye.
I'll just say bye. Bye. The word came out in a whisper, and your lips pulled into a bittersweet smile. Everything felt too final for your liking. Cove reached forward and gently cupped your face with one hand. His thumb trailed across your cheek for several heartbeats. Mesmerized by his blue eyes, you stepped forward, delighted to oblige the request he was silently asking. He met you halfway as he smiled into the kiss. It was soft and longing, and your chest ached knowing that there couldn't be anything more than this, at least for now. One of his hands grabbed onto the door handle and firmly held it. He was stopping himself from coming along with you. As you walked over to your front door, you stopped. Turning around, you spotted Cove right where you left him. You laughed quietly to yourself. For a small pause, you both stared at each other from across the street. Ooh, we could say goodnight, blow him a kiss, run back and hug him. There's a few good answers. Hey guys, stop arguing for a second and answer. Which one should we do? I'm gonna stop the debate for 1 second because I need an answer from you guys. Okay? Hug him? Got it. You put the remaining stuff from the beach down on the step and almost tripped, bolting across the road. The next thing you knew, you were diving into Cove's arms, wrapping your arms around his neck. The force of it all knocked you both loudly into the doorway. That's the face of someone going like, oh crap! Seeing his girlfriend sprinting back to him. That expression. Like, ah! But neither of you cared. You both held each other tightly, and you buried your face into the crook of his neck. Night Rain. He smelled like salt water and sunscreen and like home. It was a while until either of you thought to separate. Slowly, you made the trek home and collected what you left on the step into your arms again. Things couldn't be dragged out any longer. After one more shared smile, you opened the door and went inside, shutting it behind you. A few steps in, you saw your family gathered in the living room. They were still busy unpacking and cleaning. You added the things and brought to the pile on the kitchen counter. Mom stood up, rubbing her eyes a bit. She yawned loudly. I'm bushed. How about we finish the rest of the chores tomorrow? Yes, honestly, it's too late for this. Thanks. Please and thank you. Ma put her hands on her hips and turned to assess the room. Ma was not one who liked to leave a mess about, but she sighed. I suppose we can make an exception for the usual rule. It has been a really long day. Liz grinned contently. Lee wasted no time in skipping over to you and hooked you into a side hug. Good night. I hope you have the loveliest of dreams of you-know-who. Lee ended that sentence with a wink and a hearty laugh. She let you go. I hope you have good dreams too. Lee's smile widened till it went from ear to ear. And that would be a fantastic way to cap off today and start tomorrow. Here's to us, Rain. Tonight, tomorrow, and forever. Yeah, family forever. Lee leaned in close and whispered in your ear. You didn't fail to catch the teasing look on her face. Exactly. There's no escape. That got a laugh out of you. You lightly pushed her shoulder. She's gotten it. Our emotional support dog understands. There's no escape. Lee stretched her arm high over her head. She yawned loudly and looked at you with tired eyes. I think that's my cue to head to bed. Bye! I think so too. Had fun sharing a room with Liz. She laughed at that, and Lee shuffled off towards the guest bedroom. Before you had a chance to do anything else, you could feel the top of your head being tapped. You spun around to see Liz smirking. Nighty-night. I'm heading to bed now, too. It's been a long day, and I have a lot to prepare for tomorrow. Exhaling, you automatically started fixing the back of your hair. When Liz didn't immediately walk away, you smiled softly at her. Everything okay? Her gaze moved away, and you knew she had more to say. You waited patiently for Liz to compose her thoughts. It's been a good summer. It's nice to come back home. You nodded, and Liz gave you a teasing nudge as she went by. Amused, you turned and watched her go. Love you, baby sister. Love you too. Liz stopped walking and stared at you for a moment. She smiled softly at you. Get some sleep soon. Morning will be here faster than you know it. I will. When Liz was out of sight, Mom started up the next conversation over her shoulder. Aren't you heading up to bed too? I want to relax first. Desperately, you needed some time to decompress and clear your mind. You worried if you went off to bed now that you would end up staring at the ceiling all night. Okay. Ma came over too, smiling understandingly. She pulled you into a big hug. All right, you do what you need to. I love you. When you were done hugging Mom pulled you into another hug. Their actions basically handing you off to the other, had you laughing jovially. I'm still wondering if Cove will finally spend the night for real this time. We can only hope. I want to hug Pam and Lonnie really bad. Yeah! Hug the moms. Hug the best moms. I love you so much. I love you too. Aww. They both couldn't resist taking turns hugging you again. Your smile widened. It felt good to be so loved. Good night, kiddo. Sleep tight. Good night, sweetie. Night. After that, your moms headed off towards the bedroom down the hall. You were about to turn the other direction when you heard Mom's voice. And don't let the bedbugs bite! You heard Ma chuckling as you watched them go with a smile. Time had passed, but you weren't entirely sure how much. Sighing, you sat up on the couch. It was a good rest, and all of your tired muscles felt quite relaxed. You got up, planning to go to bed, when something out the window caught your eye. Your feet brought you right to the front of the large windows spanning the length of the back wall. You stared out into the hills beyond your house. As if on cue, your phone came on, alerting you of a new notification. It was Cove. Want to hang out on the hill tonight? Something inside you told you that this was the right kind of night to take a trip out there. You sent him back a very quick message. Yeah. You went over to the front door and stepped over the threshold. You gave the living room one last glance over your shoulder. Then you shut the door behind you silently and made your way to the Poppy Hill. With light steps in the dark, you walked across the hills. You walked across the hills behind your house. Oh, the tiny little heart, right? Up ahead at the very top, silhouetted beneath the night sky, was a familiar figure already waiting there. Smiling, you wondered just how he always got there first. You even had the advantage of living closer. Then again, and maybe it was only in your mind, but somehow, Cove was intrinsically linked with this place. After all these years, it would be weird to scan the horizon and not find him there, as surreal as the shore without the sea. The distance between you was growing shorter by the second. Hearing the grass and earth crunch under your feet, Cove turned. A grin spread over his face as he saw you. You took your place standing behind him in the crest of the Poppy Hill, looking out over the ocean. Same as you'd done on countless times since he'd first arrived, when you'd found him on this very same spot. Rain. He had officially broken the silence, the spell that had held you both in place. You looked at him expectantly. There's something I've always kind of wondered about. He cocked his head, giving you a sidelong glance. What did you think about when we met? I was just a kid you'd never seen before, bawling his eyes out on the hill next to your house. He chuckled, his eyes drifting towards the sea beyond, before flicking back over to you. The way his gaze pulled back to you made it clear that he was genuinely invested in this topic. Luckily for him, you remembered what initially struck you in that moment. It was as if it had only happened yesterday. Well, I remember noticing the neon pink cast you had to wear that summer. Cove burst into a genuine laughter at your reply. I guess that's fair. I did kind of stand out. Sighing a bit, you continued to reminisce about the first meeting. I also remember feeling bad about what was happening. I remember that too. He ran a hand through his hair, and you knew his line of questioning wasn't at an end, even before he spoke again. Do you remember what you thought about me? You know, as a person? Was I annoying or mean or... Let's see. Can I sing happiness? Yeah, go ahead. Let's see. There's a lot that's happened in chat that I did not read. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. We thought your bones sucked. Oh my god. Let's see. We can interpret the, I thought your bone sucked as, I thought you were special somehow. Momster, are you saying to go for, I didn't know what to make it you at first? Is that the one that you're thinking of? Angie, you gave me your pendant, friend, who loves to debate. Yep, free reign to be, I did. Yes, I did do that. I let you have free reign and debate, and thank you guys for making my metrics go up. I can always count on you two. Oh. Cove nodded, accepting your response. Cove's hand drifted to the scar on his arm, his fingers unconsciously gliding over the mark. It was much less noticeable than it had been when the neon pink cast had first come off, shrunking gradually over the years as his body healed, then dwarfed in comparison to the growing body. Still, his fingers came back to it without thinking. He gave a half smile, not meeting your eyes. No matter what you were thinking, I doubt it was worse than what I had going on in mind. You raised an eyebrow at his vague words, wondering what it was that he meant. Cove lifted his head up, finally committing to meet your eyes fully once more. I remember you that day. I remember it really well. I don't think I'd ever be able to forget. I can picture the way you looked back then, when I first saw you standing right there. I still know the expression on your face when you chose to sit with me in the grass. He chuckled self-derivativously, interrupting his own monologue. You scared me at first. I figured I'd be alone out there until I had to face my dad again, and then suddenly another kid appeared out of nowhere. It was startling, but I got over that fast. You were a strange person in a strange place, but in that moment you were exactly what I needed. Somebody I could talk to freely about what was happening and how it made me feel. And you listened to me. You stayed with me. He sighed, then bit his lip as he gave a small smile. I was a little bit spoiled growing up. A little? Oh man, that's good. The I little is funny. Let's see here. A little. Your teasing rolled over Cove, who laughed in reply. He looked off again, seeking clarity for his thoughts at the expanse of the night sky. What I'm trying to say is, when I was younger, I viewed myself basically at the center of the universe. I didn't even imagine it wasn't like that. Things didn't simply happen. That would be weird, according to my little kid brain. It made far more sense that everything in my life had a specific connection to me, somehow, right? He saw affirmation in you, wavy brows raised as he tried to explain his childlike logic. So at the time, you felt almost unreal. Like you weren't just anyone. Some other kid had happened to live in that neighborhood with your own whole life that wasn't connected to Cove Holden. No, to me, you were there so you could find me when I was lost. I kind of expected it all to vanish like a dream when that night was over. I would wake up and everything would be the same again. I'd be back in my bed at home, my real home, with both my parents. The future was something I couldn't picture anymore. I didn't know what school would be like when I went back, or the table where I'd eat breakfast the next morning, or anything. And if I couldn't imagine it, how could I think it was something actually happening? I couldn't grasp my new reality. It was too big for me to hold in all at once. So I never thought I'd see you again. Then Cove beamed at you, his eyes shining bright. And I never ever would have been able to guess that 10 years later, when I was a grown-up, the two of us would still be together. Guess that makes me your dream come true. We're choosing that. You'd been joking, but Cove nodded in agreement. You are. You exactly are. But the smile faded from his face as his eyebrows drew together. That was the worst day of my life at the time. The day my family broke apart. It was too heavy for me to think about. I felt that way for I don't know how long. He held a hand over his heart, connecting that with the pain he'd felt as a child, and looked at you earnestly.
It's okay.
But that was never really true. Things have only gotten better with me, and with my dad and mom. It was the change we all needed. His eyes were growing misty. So when I remember that time right now, it's not the point that my life was over. It was only the moment that I met the woman I was going to be with. When I was crying to a stranger over what I thought I'd lost, I didn't have any idea that she would be the one thing in this world that I actually wouldn't be able to live without. Aww. That's like really sweet, actually. That's like super sweet. I never want to lose you. You won't. I think this warrants it. He leaned into the kiss, his lips soft against yours. Cove sighed contently. His voice was as delicate as the petals on the poppies which crowned the hill. Hey, Rain. I'm so grateful you were there, even when I wanted to run away. You didn't know what else to say back to that. His heartfelt appreciation left you speechless. He tilted his head up, thoughts lost in the sprouse clouds above. I wonder how late it is. I guess it doesn't really matter. My dad is fine with me being out whenever. Wow, Cove, that's kind of cringe. It's sweet. It's sweet. Oh, man. All right. Should we let moms know? Should we make him let his dad know? What are we thinking, guys? How should we play this one? I'm gonna take water as I'm waiting for a response. I haven't been drinking nearly enough. Always gets moms in on it. Got it. Let's see, where are we? Alright, we wanted to make sure messages to mom. You brought your phone out just long enough to shoot out a text. They wouldn't see it at any time soon, but they'd be in the loop once they were up. Let's see. Are you going to lay in the grass now? Wow, how'd you know? I just thought you might want to. With a chuckle, Cove plopped down onto the ground and laid on his back, his usual way of spending time there. Sit on his chest! Yep, here they go. Let's see. What do you guys think? We can snuggle against him. I just see the yeah. But, I don't know what the yeah is to. His poor brittle ribs. He's gotten, like, a little stronger, you know? You pick, Angie? Okay, I can pick. We will snuggle against him. You lowered yourself against Cove's side in the grass and wrapped an arm around his chest. Cove smiled at you and used his free hand to cradle your face. The both of you fully settled in to relax on the hill. It felt like just the beginning of one of your nightly outings, but then you realized the sun was peeking out over the horizon. Cove spoke up with a disbelieving tone. It really was late. Your neighbor wasn't a stranger to being awake at dawn. However, not like this. He was normally an early sleeper, early riser. This unexpected sunrise particularly awed him. The two of you watched on silently as the sun began to light the world. Cove then propped himself up on the back of his arms and looked at you with a soft expression on his face. Do you want to go back home? I could carry you if you're too tired. You shook your head. You couldn't resist a yawn, but you were serious. It couldn't be time to go already. Cove chuckled affectionately and gripped you a little more.
I get it.
Okay, but it's been a long day. We've done a lot of things, like, really a lot. It has to end sometime. Does it really have to end? Yeah. I don't think there's anything either of us can do about that one, but we can stay if you want to. Cove smiled brightly at you, as warm as the new rays of sun that were trickling on your skin. In that moment, you couldn't have appreciated him being there more. Aww, yeah, the whole moment is just aww. Let's see your romantic side. Yeah. I get to let it loose every once in a while. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I've already said we're not going to be the ones that propose. We are not going to propose to Cove. We are going to make Cove propose to us. Which will happen. We will see it. But I set everything up perfectly, masterminding it, so we get a certain proposal method. So we are not going to be the ones that propose, so that is not going to be the ones we do. We'll kiss him, though. We'll kiss him. You moved your face forward and gave Cove a small kiss. He tilted his head against yours. Good morning, Cove. Oh, man. Angie's old-fashioned. Listen, I want that proposal method. We were the ones that confessed. He gets to propose. That's the deal. All right. Say good morning. Good morning. He gave you a bent smile and went for the opposite sentiment.
Good night.
Good night, Rain. The two of you remained together as that familiar poppy hill where you first met into the world began to fade and blur. You began falling asleep. A few more gentle words drifted into your consciousness.
See you tomorrow.
Your eyelids dipped, but you felt good. You were safe and relaxed. Everything that had come before this had reassured you of that. You were confident that when you opened them again, things would be okay. You opened your eyes. Instead of the walls of your room, you were surrounded by open sky. It was not soft pillows and sheets underneath you, but the bed of earth and grass that you'd taken last night. The day welcomed you with the shining sun, a refreshing breeze, and the chirping sounds of birds. You kept your face with your hands as you sat up, feeling the imprint of the blades of grass leaving lines into your cheeks. Rain. Hearing your name, you lowered your hands and looked around. There he was, your most influential neighbor, Cove Holden. He had made himself very comfortable, laying on his stomach with jewelry and shoes taken off and a flower in his hand. Good morning. Morning. Cove laughed, tickled with the overall situation and simply being able to spend time like this. Told you I'd see you tomorrow. It's the exact same day, Cove. Actually, it's the exact same day. But also pretty safe bet we see each other nearly every day. Do you think that our life universe is free of the Scrooge and mosquitoes and ticks? Oh my god. Yeah, I did use this in one of the thumbnails. I used a lot of the CGs in the thumbnails. I played this game like multiple times over, by the way. This is like my fourth or fifth time playing it. Okay. Is anyone gonna answer it or am I gonna do it myself? 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm going with the first one. We were up until dawn. It doesn't make it a new day now, just because we went to sleep later than normal. Then we disagree, because to me it's not really the next day until I've been to bed and woken up. But fine. I'll just have to make sure I see you tomorrow again. Probably the day after that too. And then that way there's no argument. Cove turned his head to the sky, his expression content. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. We'll have to come up with something to do to make the most of it. He trailed off, blinking slowly in the sunlight. Someday, when we're even older than we are now, I wonder what we'll end up remembering this moment for. What will we feel when we look back at it? Will it be the same as what we're feeling right now?
It's nice.
I can't see what the future is going to look like again, but I think that's all right. Yep, too late. Glad you're singing, Okapi. Glad you can sing for us. Okay. Let's see. I think it'll mark the start of another new start for me. Cove's eyebrows lifted as he turned to look at you. That's a good one. I want to think about it like that too. He eyed the hills sprawling out before you, and down below where the wild hill and nature gave way to civilization. Your home and coves lay down at the bottom, neatly filed among the other houses in the neighborhood. Hey, Rain, I bet I can beat you in getting back to the road. You laughed, amused by the wager that reminded you of so many moments in your youth. As much as I like it here, it's okay if we leave now. We can always come back to see the poppies and the fireflies again, right? Cove met your eyes, waiting for what you were going to say in response. I'd like that. Cove blinked slowly, his eyes still locked on you, but you didn't need to see his face to know that he adored you. If there had been any room for doubt, the tender way he spoke would have filled it up. You're really irreplaceable, huh? Cove beamed at you. His expression was so unlike the one he'd worn when you first found him there, swaddled in sadness and uncertainty. Yet you couldn't help but glimpse that boy once more underneath his bright expression and matured features. Come on. He offered you a hand. You accepted it, your palm fitting around his. Cove lifted himself up, pulling you along too. Our parents probably aren't going to come running for us this time. We've got to make our own call. And I say we can't hide away forever. Poppy Hill is just one part of things. There's more out there for us than this time and this place alone. Let's enjoy it. You couldn't say whether you were the one that broke into a run, if Cove had been there from the start of it, or if your feet had simultaneously made that choice for you both. The end result was the same, with the two of you dashing down the hill like children, but with the nostalgic revelry that could only come as an adult. As the wind whipped past you, you knew that your family and friends were waiting for you at the end of your sprint. There were more memories to make, after all. Life takes another step forward. And we've done it, guys. Roll credits. We've reached the end. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us. Life finds a way. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on this. This is the official end of the main content for our life. We finished step 3. I can't believe it. My voice is also like really shot. So sorry if it's like super gravelly right now. More so than it was before. Yep, that was a wild ride. We still have a few things to get through. There is the adult epilogue DLC. There is the wedding DLC, and then we have Derek and Baxter's little stories. None of these will be as long as the full game though. Like I think I can make a full episode out of a couple of these. So yeah, after step 3, we're gonna go on to the step 4 and then the wedding DLC. And then we're going to be moving on to Baxter and Derek. Though I might rearrange that a little bit. I've been thinking about this, and like I still want to do the 4th one, step 4, next. But afterwards, what we do at that, whether we go ahead and do Baxter and Derek's and save the wedding DLC for last, is kind of up in the air. I'm still debating on that. So we're gonna see. After Our Life, I have some other visual novels planned. We are eventually going to play Our Life 2. However, I'm waiting for more content to come out first before we play Our Life 2, because it's still in the development phase and they really only have the demo out right now. No, wedding DLC has to be after step 4. But do the wedding DLC before Derek and Baxter's, I can do. Yeah, it'll depend on how we feel afterwards. Because, like, it might be good to, like, leave off with that. You know, that be the last thing we see. They were asleep when the text came in, so it doesn't count. They can't ground me. I'm 18 and I'm leaving for college. Things will get complicated for non-viewers if they see you with Derek or Baxter. It's fine. Like, most of the people that join us and stuff, I think they'll be fine with it. What about that DLC? That DLC will largely just depend. It will be its own video. It's not going to be a stream. So, if I do it, because it's always been an if I do it, it will be in a video that's not attached to a stream, and I just have no idea when videos are going to come out. Because, like, I have to edit them completely, and I have a long list of backlogs for edited videos. But yeah, I have to censor it too much to be able to do it as a stream. YouTube has gotten a lot stricter with some of the stuff like that. So I have to be careful in what I show and everything, you know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on this. I have a backlog of videos. I do have a backlog of videos. I have a ton of videos that need to be edited. I mean, I've gone for, unfortunately thinking about it, I've gone for about 5 months without actually editing videos. Everything has been streams. And, yeah, I need to get back into actually editing videos. It needs to happen. All right, I am gonna end things here. We will, you know, decide how to design Rain in the next episode when we do step 4. But on that note, this has been the end of step 3 of Our Life. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a crazy ride. Our Life is the first game I started on this channel. It's the first stream I started on this channel. And, you know, it means a lot to me. I'm really glad that everyone has stuck out with me for so long. I've gained a lot of you along the way, and I'm really happy that you're all here with me. On that note, I do have to end things here. I know you guys are still, like, kind of chatting with each other, but I do have to go ahead and end things. My voice is really shot. I need to rest and drink a lot of ginger tea. So I will see you guys in the next episode. On Wednesday, we are playing more Lobotomy Corporation, and on Saturday, we're playing more Hollow Knight. I am going to be taking a little bit of a break fairly soon. I have some videos that I'm going to be replacing on some of my streams on the days that I'm going to be gone, but I don't quite know when I'm going to be leaving, so I will let you guys know when that is, when it gets a little closer. But until then, I will see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for joining me. As always, love you lots. Take care of yourselves, guys. 18 is not old, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!